Hey everyone, Vern's here, back again with another Supercoach video. This time it's the round 9 review, which look positive outcome on paper and what you see there. We put out a 22.66, went up 1,500 places, and now we're sitting at 2,555. So look, that's pretty good in the grand scheme of things. I think I'm personally just frustrated at the week as I didn't back myself, and then I just made changes that I wasn't happy with, and I just threw a lot of points out the window, and I just didn't use my brain in some situations, which was really frustrating. I guess I'll jump into the team, go over things quickly, and I guess just the main points there, but number 1 point, we're just going to go over the captain option there. So we ended up putting it on Lockie Neal, and look, I know I talked about in the last video that I just couldn't back him in after the really poor score, and for a minute, it looked like a nightmare. He had a 15-point first quarter, then he was on, I think, 37 at halftime, and I'm just sitting here thinking, fuck. Like, I was just so angry at it. Lucky for us, he came out with a really big third quarter and then a decent enough final quarter to get to the 109. So that was really nice, but it was just frustrating early in the game. He definitely had an opportunity to kick the first goal of the game. He got a hand pass out, plenty of space, had time, and he just didn't do it. It was just poor. He got two holding the balls in the first quarter. He had another opportunity, I think, in the fourth to kick a goal, and he just sprayed it again. There was two instances where he got play-ons where the ball was kicked to him and it was called not 15, when one of them I don't think definitely was 15. The other one was really on that like 50-50 mark where it did feel like it was definitely between the 15 to 20, and he got called not 15, unfortunately. And it's just a lot of little things like that where it's like there's just, a few points out for not getting the mark, a few points out because he sprayed the kick, and he didn't, convert a goal that he should have converted. A few points where like he gets the center clearance, he blitzes out, and then he just somehow just hits up the one Essendon defender by themselves, just lays out, boom, on their chest. And I was just like, bro, what? And as I said, he got a 15-point first quarter, but there was potential there for him to put out 40. Like, as I said, if he converts that first goal of the game, that's a lot of points there. If he just is a bit more accurate with these kicks, increases the disposal efficiency. One of the holding the balls he got, I really didn't think was holding the ball. The first one definitely got taken down. And second one felt very stiff. Obviously, a bit of bias there because he was my captain. I was watching it very close, but yeah, obviously, he doesn't get that holding the ball. It just goes to a ball up. As I said, he hits someone and gets a score involvement. He kicks the first goal of the game. He gets a mark from the 15. Like, all of a sudden, there's an easy 20, 25 points that he puts on in that first quarter. And then he's, absolutely rolling. And that would have been really nice as my captain, because that wouldn't have been 25. That would have been an extra 50 points on the score. So that was a bit frustrating to watch. Now, the reason I did go Lockie Neal was obviously greedy. We can see I have Oliver with the 119 VC. And the reason I did this was actually frustration. I did have the VC on Darcy basically all week. So after my video, I thought about it a bit more. I thought SCG, small ground, he's going to smash Laddams. Oh my god, seems so easy. And then I have Oliver for backup if anything goes wrong. And Thursday night rolled around. I was watching the Fantasy Take TV pod, JD, George, and they're all talking about, Oliver into Bont. And it was just one of those things. You look at Bont scoring, and he has like that 156 average in the last 3, 147 in the last 5. Like, he's been going bananas, and he's going into Carlton, who have been giving up points, but specifically Cripps. So it felt like Hewitt was going to go to him and probably stop him. That's what I thought, in my opinion, and that's kind of what happened. He kept him down a bit. It didn't have the Cripps matchup, but I just kind of got scared there, and I bailed on it, and I was very frustrated for Darcy to come out and put out that 151 as to why I had the VC on him. The highest scorer in my team, I would have loved the extra, 42 points that he got over Neal. That would have been absolutely sensational. And that's the frustrating part there. That's why I'm talking about my score, and I'm a bit frustrated about it. 42 points down the drain because I bailed out my captain option, and then with Darcy having such a big game, Petrarca having such a big game, Goulden having such a big game, Goulden wasn't... Petrarca's someone I contemplated because of the downhill skiing, and Goulden's someone I contemplated because Freo giving up points to the mids. So these are all people that you consider, but they're all premiums and they all have those ceilings. And that's why we consider them with the VC, because they got that high variable where it's either a big or a medium, big score, or it's pretty average. And yeah, I think that was just frustration that I missed out on these big games from players. Oh, sorry, Gordon actually outscored Darcy, but big players went off, and I was just frustrated. I didn't feel like Bont was going to honestly get amazing score, because I did feel like, as I said, Hewitt would go to him, he'd keep him to that 115, 120 range, so not really any better than Oliver. And I was like, Neil has done it before where he's destroyed Essendon. There is a chance that he comes out and does it. Like, he comes back for a bounce back week after a very poor last week, and he goes off. Parrish isn't playing. Brisbane should run over it. It is at the Gabba. And so I decided to take the risk there. And as I said, that's where the frustration comes from for this week as to why I didn't get a bigger score. Something else that actually frustrated me that, I noticed in hindsight, but it's something that I did last week. So there's no reason I shouldn't have done it this week. Which was last week, Ashcroft had the early game. So I put him on the emergency because I had the Johnson loophole. Ashcroft had a poor game and I ended up putting Angwin on. Actually lost 3 points from it, but didn't really matter. This time, Johnson's playing the third game of the round, meaning there's only really Hopper playing before him. Now, I don't know why logically I should have just put the emergency on Hopper. Worst case scenario, we take the emergency with Johnson, easy, no problem. Best case scenario, and this might sound a bit harsh saying best case, but a lot of people own Hopper. He has a poor game, and then I managed to get another score on field. I personally would have definitely played Wilmot if I actually did this Hopper loophole. And I know obviously it's easy to say in hindsight, but it's something that I did last week with Ashcroft, and there's no reason for me not to do it with Hopper this week. And I just don't think I paid enough attention this week. I think I let fear control my decisions. I got too scared of Neil going off with a 200, and I just didn't want to miss that. But if he did get tagged, pressure from Naish, which we were expecting, and held down, I didn't want to risk him with the C. I was too scared of Bont having another consecutive game. I was scared of Darcy's low floor because he's had these few bad games, and I thought, what happens if Jackson comes in and has a big game or something like that, or all his hitouts get sharked and they just get destroyed by Sydney because I didn't expect Freo to get up there. I kind of let fear run my decision. Dacos, same thing. I actually thought he would have been also a good captain option. I really didn't think GWS were going to tag him, but I just, once again, fear that it's like, but what did they do? He has had to tag the last 2 weeks, so I let fear sort of own me. And 30 points down the drain with that Wilmot Hopper switch there. I didn't expect Wilmot to go for the 75. He had a much better role though, so 30 points there, 42 points from the captain. Yeah, there's a good 70 points, 75 down the drain, and all of a sudden that 2-2-6-6 ends up as a 23-41 or something like that. A much better score. It probably pushes me close to the top 1,000 in the round, and it probably pushes me very close to top 1,000 just for overall ranking. So I think that's where the frustration comes in at my round this week. And I know this is probably just a bit, me sort of just ranting about annoying things that didn't go well. And obviously hindsight's 2020, but I think these are things that I should have been able to do, things that I have done in the past, which I mentioned with the Ashcroft loophole from last week. And I just didn't do it. And it's just very frustrating in that sense. But overall, going over the team, also very frustrating here is Sinclair. Now, I just keep bringing it up every week because it's just a fact that we could have gone Stewart when Stewart was on that nice low price, had that 60 break even, and I went, nah, I want Sinclair. And Sinclair had 28 points at halftime. If he didn't have that third quarter where he dropped he ended up getting himself to 50-something points by the end of the third quarter. So he had 14-point average for quarter 1 and 2. I didn't see what he got in those 2 quarters, but I just saw the half time. He then I then turn on the game, and I see him touch the ball a billion times, and he ends up getting, I think, 22 points in the third quarter, and all of those were in the second half of the third quarter for what I was watching. And then hit a 15-point fourth quarter. That's just absolutely pathetic. And I don't know what went wrong here for him to have put out those numbers if Adelaide just stomped him too hard. But when I saw him, he was behind the ball, he was getting the running carry, he was running past, getting the easy hand passes, he even got a kick out, and then I saw Wagner and Miller take the next 2, which was a bit annoying. I can't tell if he was stuck playing on ball because we don't want him on ball. He's not a midfielder. He's not an on-baller. He's a running carry guy that you're going to pass it to when he runs past, and he's going to hit a lace-out kick, from 50 out. That's what he does. He's not an on-ball. He's not a pig, and he's not a bull. He just doesn't do those things. He's the running carry guy. He's the guy that needs to get that cheap disposal in the hands, in the hand pass, running past. He needs to be the 15-meter kick, and then he finds a beautiful down the line, sharp kick himself. It's not what he does. I just don't like him in the midfield. He doesn't look good. I keep hearing the commentators praise his midfield, but I don't like it, and Supercoach doesn't like it. It's just not good. But yeah, what I wanted to compare was the two of them. I'm just going to quickly check my history. So how many weeks has he been in my team? Sorry, can I check trade history? I feel like I can. This is probably in the way. Yeah, trade history. Round 5, did we get him? Yeah, round 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. Just wanted to double check that I was looking at that correctly. His 5-round average, so that's what he's done in my team, which isn't going to be good, I can tell you that much, is a 93.6. It's even lower than his actual running average. That's actually awful. And then we're going to compare that to Stewart, who we really should have got. Once again, in hindsight, I just really didn't believe in Stewart playing every game for the rest of the season. I thought Sinclair would, and even if he got outscored by a little bit, it didn't matter. But that's a 116.6 average. 23 points a game extra. That's over 120 points. Over 120 points on my total score that I've just thrown down that one trade. One trade has made such a huge difference. I mean, obviously for the total score, that's pretty nice if you had the extra 120. Extra 70 I threw away this week. I know. I need to stop talking about all the points I'm throwing away, but it's just frustrating to see that. This week alone, Stewart had 50 more points than him, which is massive. Once again, I mean, the 70 plus the 50, boom, what a massive score that could have been. Okay, well, I need to get off the what-ifs, but just so frustrating to see that out of Sinclair. So frustrating. Day honestly needs to up at 88. Really isn't enough, and I saw him getting a lot of ball, but just disposal efficiency was not good. A lot of the time he got it from contest, and it's hard to say. He got it from contest, and he bombs it out to a one-on-one, and his teammate manages to let the opponent mark it instead of it get to ground. Or he tries to go for this shorter 20-meter kick and just nails a defender. I don't know. I think he had, 27, 28 disposals, and a lot of them you would consider good because they were clearances, but they just always seem to find an enemy. Well, I guess a defender jumper, or whatever you want to call them, an opposition's jumper, which is really annoying. Mitchell was actually so good, though. Watching him, great, junked it up, took kick-ins. Oh, my goodness, so good. Weddle had some good moments, too, which is really nice. 65, going to get the cash gen going. Probably finds himself still in the team, which is cool. I think same can be said for Angwin here. I think he had some good moments at the end of the game, some good moments at the start of the game. He wasn't the worst player on the team. Definitely wasn't their worst by far. So I would expect him to probably hold his position with how he played. He unfortunately had an opportunity for a goal at the end, and it was a bloody awful kick. Would have been really nice if he could have converted that. Johnson will be back from his suspension, so if Freo want to bring him back, great. But Freo did get a really nice win over, I believe... Who did they beat? Let's jump back real quickly. Who did Freo beat? Yeah, Freo got a nice win over Sydney. So I don't know if he will come back into the team because of that. Bont, yeah. I was actually, as I said, I was watching the Brisbane Essendon game over the Doggies game. But for what I heard, Hewitt went to Bont, and Bont did Bont things like this. Like, if you got this score as a bad, you consider this a bad score considering the 147 average Bont was putting out, but in the grand scheme of things, this is a very serviceable score for a lot of players. So, got no problem with that. Track came out with a massive game. As I said, the contemplation here was that Track is a downhill skier. When Melbourne run over teams, Track is going to have a great game, as to why we contemplated the VC on him. Unfortunately, I think the fear of Oliver just putting out a 200, because we know he can do that, is why I went the VC on to Oliver. But yeah, Track at 661, he's playing really well. As I mentioned, if he got forward DPP, that would have been absolutely unbelievable. and impossible for others to get. But even as a midfielder, he is going to be top 5 easy. So there's no problem there. Neil, super frustrating pick. Super frustrating. Once again, someone that's been in our team for 4 weeks, I think. 4 weeks he's been in our team. So he had 100 average there. He put out the 63, put out the 109. He's averaging like 93 in our team, which is, once again, super frustrating that he's doing that. Look, if he was to keep powering out 109s for the rest of the season, I would take that as a win, because he's been pretty underwhelming so far. As I mentioned, 93 average, so if he kept putting out 109s, I'd be happy with that. But yeah, I just don't know what's happening. It's just not the Neil of his Brownlow year. He's just not hitting these lace-out passes. He's missing opportunities. It's just not converting for him, which is really annoying. It is for Brisbane as a whole, but not Neil personally. Tom Green did what he could for the Giants. They got absolutely stomped by Pies. We looked oh my goodness, how good did Mason Cox look? I don't know for anyone else watching that game, but just goodness. The thing we've been so good the last few weeks without a ruckman, and then Cox comes back and he looks like he could be one of the best ruckmans in the league, just the way he played. Obviously, I don't expect him to play like that every week, but he's actually a really good player. Like, I've rated Cox for a long time, even when he was average. But he has been really good last season. He's been really good the start of this season. Just all those floating intercept marks where he just gets in between. He's just so tall. He's great at goals as well. So just so nice for our team. Oh, sorry, just random thing I think I touched on right there. Merit 95, a little bit annoying with the Merit 95. It's similar to Dunkley. So early on in this game, as I mentioned, Neil's on like 37 or whatever at halftime, and Merit and Dunkley are like 70 apiece at halftime. And then Merritt finishes on like a 95, like 25 points in like the final quarter, like final half of the game. Like that's just unbelievably bad. Like, I don't know where he went. He just disappeared when Essendon needed him most. Dunks, as I said, he put out like 33, so he also really fell off a cliff. And I don't really know what happened to them. Like, I don't know what happened to Dunkley specifically. I think maybe because Brisbane were just running over the game. His influence just wasn't really needed anymore. He had some great players early where they kicked him to him on the one-on-one. He's just so tall, and he manages to get these great marks, as well as just being so good around the ball. Merritt sort of got pushed into more of a forward role when Brisbane started running away with the game, so I guess in that sense that's sort of why he wasn't really involved there. I don't know, just it wasn't good. Hopper, 43, he's going to be a must-trade. That's super unfortunate. Chincotta, 33, actually my lowest scoring midfield rookie, and he was on field, which once again sucks there. I just didn't have a loop, so I had to sort of back him in. As I mentioned, Chincotta and Wilmot playing at the same time. I actually kind of wanted to put Wilmot on field because of Brisbane's outs. We did expect Wilmot to play behind the ball, and he definitely scores better behind the ball. And I didn't back that in. I didn't expect such a bad game from Chincotta. Yeah, a little bit annoying there, but it is what it is. Just got to accept that. Darcy, monster game, awesome. Rowan, also a pretty monster game. Huge week for us over English owners, who only dropped like a 90 again. So really big for us there, which is nice. And that's probably the reason that we did score so well at the end of the day. We did have Darcy and Marshall go big, and we didn't have English. We also have Petrarca, who's not highly owned, which is really good as well. So I think when I look at my like not lowly owned, but I guess I didn't have English, who didn't go off. My 2 rucks went off. Petrarca is not highly owned. He did pretty well. And then I don't know, look at the score, and it just doesn't look that great overall. But clearly the rest of the other highly owned players that I don't have just didn't do well either, because I don't know, my score just doesn't look that good, and my team doesn't look that good this week. Toronto put out the 90. Cool. Goulden went off. Cool. Rosie did his thing. Sheasel had a down game. Everyone owns him. Doesn't matter. Chandler had a down game. Whatever. Davey has killed his cash gen. And the only hope for Davey now is that he plays in the buys. Because other than that, he is just going to be a dead rookie on bench. So we're going to jump into our trades. I kind of looked at this before. We have to get rid of Hopper and Chandler at the moment. Purely because their cash gen is dead. Now, what I can do here is if I do move Mitchell down to the forward line, it does make me feel a bit better about looking at looping Wilmot / Weddle sort of thing. That doesn't look too bad in my opinion. And then we're going to move Davey up. Now, who do I want? I actually want Liberatore. Obviously, he's been so good so far, 5th overall for midfielders in average. He missed the game because of concussion, no other reason. He's just been really good, and I think what happened this week, as we mentioned, Hewitt ends up going to Bont. Liberatore just ends up kind of unmatched in the middle and just goes off. And he's one of the other people in the Dogs where we look at Magneto move those magnets around, we know Bont is unaffected, and Liberatore. Bont, Liberatore, and English are completely unaffected by Magneto, and that's why they're just so good. The other consideration is Sam Walsh, because he is looking at that forward DPP. Puts out another 117 again, but I do think I want Liberatore. I do think he's going to have a really big week this week into Adelaide, and he's going to be hard to get soon. So that's what I'm looking at there. Now, in regards to rookies, sizing these two up, I think Sharp is a better rookie than Berry. That's what I think from what I watched in these games. Berry just wasn't all that good in my opinion, and Sharp had some really good moments. Saying that, last week's scores show that Sharp was pretty average and Berry was much better. But the reason I'm going for Berry at the end of the day is purely the bye. Now, this is a hard thing to say, just because I'm pretty sure Brisbane have the bye in the final round. Final round bye? No, they don't. Round 14 bye. Wait, they have round 12 bye. Okay, yeah. That makes more sense then. So bringing in Sharp, he's going to miss a game really quickly. So we're going to get, what, round 10 out of him, round 11 out of him, and then he has a bye. So we're not going to be trading him before then. Saying then he can come in after those weeks and play, which is nice. So I don't mind that. I think my round 12 bye is not bad either. We have 4, we have 7, 11, 15, 16. Yeah, so we should be able to field 18, no problem. So Sharp wouldn't be the worst thing. But I think with Berry, I don't have any Geelong or Gold Coast players, so this is just an ideal buy for me to take him. If I look at it, literally just them missing, so I'm going to run a full team if I do that, and then he'll play in the 2 later buys, which I need. So I think it's just better for the buy structure. Sharp having the better round 2 games a lot better because he's running average for a bit longer. So I do think if you are able to, Sharp is the better pick if you have the better early game buy. But it's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in Berry personally. Unfortunately, I can't loop with Roberts this week because of him playing the early game. We're going to put Liberatore on field, obviously. This is where the midfield becomes really iffy. We have some potentially dead rookies. It'd be great to see Johnson get back this week. Angwin, he's not really a fieldable rookie. We don't really want to field him. And Davey, I don't know. I would love him to play in these buys. That's all I really want from him. Wilmot, I think, reset his break-even quite nicely with this game. Yeah, down to 35 and should have that backline role for another week at least. So hopefully he can put out another good score and make us some decent money. Now, this is where we're going to run into problems moving forward. We have 3 rookies on field to move. It's just a matter of Wilmot really needs to get a bit more cash into him. Mitchell needs to get a bit more cash into him. And then we can try and get them moved on. We get to save another boost, which is really cool. But yeah, it's hard to say specifically what we're going to be able to do here. Anyway, captains, what I am thinking, I think this is a very easy just Oliver into Bont week. I actually considered Liberatore, but I think I'm happy with just going Bont. He has been really good, and I don't know if anyone in Adelaide stops him. Maybe Dawson goes to him, tries to keep him down. I don't see Melbourne running over Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval, in the sense that Track's going to outscore Oliver. So I think Oliver's the easy VC into Bont. Very nice. If you have Gorn, I think he's the VC because we know Port has no ruckman. But yeah, team's looking super good this way. We've got 3 rookies left. We have, in my opinion, 2 iffy picks in the sense of, maybe even 3, but I was going to say Will Day, right now we're treating him like a keeper, and then Shizel, we will still treat him like a keeper. He might just burn out though and might have to flip out the buys, but that's no stress. Sinclair is the other one that, I don't know, like, I really don't know. If he doesn't just get moved into a more permanent back role and start putting out bigger scores, he might have to go as well, which is super frustrating in that sense. But they're all going to be potentially luxury upgrades or flips later on in the season. For now, we've got 3 rookies left. Team is looking good. We have 7 premium midfielders, and honestly really good midfielders in my opinion. Definitely 4 of the top dogs. Neil definitely potential, and same with Green doing really well throughout the season, and Merritt with potential. The forward line, honestly, nothing wrong with the forward line in the slightest. Pretty happy with that. And then, as I mentioned, defense, it's really just the Wilday and Sinclair. If they can up their game just a little bit here, I think our team could really go off this week. But yeah, we can't unfortunately use the Constable loophole either. And yeah, can't use anyone else really as a loop here. So we just got to, once again, back in the rookies we put on the field. Now, I guess going over other captain options, I don't know. I think Oliver and Gorn, number 1 VC options this week. Bont, if you really want to go Libba, feel free to. I don't know about going Dawson or Laird. I don't know about that. I think it's just easier to back in the dogs. Maybe you could go for a Dunkley into Gold Coast, maybe. Merritt hopefully has a good game against Richmond, who usually bleed points in the midfield. Yeah, I mean, Hawthorn, this could be a big week for Day to actually have a good game against West Coast here, so hopefully he can bounce back and show us what he's made of here. MCG, I don't know about either of these teams. I don't think I'd back in either one, honestly. No players from these games. So I don't know. When we're looking at captain options, the lowest I would absolutely go is maybe Merritt. Maybe Dunkley or Neil, but I think it's just way too simple this week. I mean, everyone has at least Oliver, Gorn, Bontempelli, and I think one of those 3 are going to get you a good enough score that even if you put the VC on any one of those 3, you're going to be very happy to take it. And if you're lucky enough to have 2 of those players, obviously not Oliver and Gorn, so just Bontempelli with one of the Melbourne players, it's just VC into Bont. Yeah, anyway, I've rambled on for long enough. Team's looking good. Weeks are looking good. Yeah, it's all just... It's going up. I know I rambled a bunch at the start that I was really frustrated with myself for making simple mistakes, and that's the difference between having a much higher rank than what I am now, but the team's looking good, and if we can stay on track, we can hopefully break the top K soon. So, yeah, anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll catch you all next week, so leave your comments down below. Once again, I appreciate you watching the video. If you subscribe and follow the journey, awesome, but I always just appreciate you being here anyway. So, peace, later.